Hey guys, good evening. So I've been asked quite a few times, um, why is it that you got bullied in high school? Or why did I get bullied so much during, my teen years and stuff like that? Well, the answer is simple. Teenagers are absolute assholes, basically. When, you know, when I was still living with my mom especially during those times, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of income. We just had the disability money my mom had and the child support that that we were given from the government because of the fact that she was on disability. But that's basically nothing what you get. It's every 3 months you get a certain amount. I'm not 100% sure how much. I was obviously not old, but yeah, it's um it's a bit difficult to explain. And well, my stepdad was here, of course, but when it came to helping out, so to speak, financially, that was not really the case. It was my mom kept loaning from him, stuff like that. But that's probably a bit too personal, and I should not go into that, so I'm not going to. But we didn't have a lot of money. So the clothes that I had would be worn for years until either I just couldn't pass with those anymore, either I really needed new clothes or there was some kind of sale or whatever. So I was often wearing the same clothes in a day, and I got picked on for that. And the teacher explained to them, like, she has a washing machine. People, there's a washing machine, that's what it's made for. Of course, teenagers are bullies, or are often bullies. Excuse me, I don't mean to insult anyone. Um, but yeah, that's one of the reasons. Number two is because we didn't have any money or as much, we basically couldn't afford the best types of food. So whenever we had some food, especially with my mom being both schizophrenic and alcoholic, keep that in mind. Alcoholic, I mean, it's not particularly cheap, right? I once upon a time actually calculated how much she was spending on alcohol in a month, and it was 200 euro. And I put it in front of her nose, and she was like, yeah. I kind of shocked her with that, and she tried to slow down. It didn't really help. I eventually got her off of alcohol due to some measures, but yeah, while she was drinking, it was really expensive. And so what was left of food was little to nothing. And healthy food was obviously more expensive than the cheap kind. So my mom would often bring home frozen pizzas or would just buy fries or basically the most unhealthy things that you can imagine, right? And I would try to help out by finding a way to get money somehow, selling stuff or whatever I would do just to help out with the bills, or not specifically with the bills, but to help out with food, which was not that much. I couldn't do that much, right? I could, yeah, it was basically just, yeah, just selling stuff. Yeah. And there was this one lady in the apartment complex, sorry. One lady in the apartment complex that I would cook for, and she would uh, compensate me by giving me double its value. So that was kind of nice. What else? Well, I got bullied due to my name. So you all know me as Alex or Alexis. If you've watched for a while, you might have seen the video where I did tell you about my name. But my real name is Mercedes, which I absolutely hate. I mean, I'm sure other people find it a beautiful name. I get told a lot, like, it's such a beautiful Spanish name, it's bloody, bloody, blah. Well, if kids have something they can bully you with, they will, right? So I got called a lot of things, and in Dutch, that would be things like automac, and translated that would be car brand, um, or dikke Mercedes, which translates to fat Mercedes, and they would constantly come things like, oh my god, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a big fat Mercedes. And this went on all day long, from elementary school through high school. Like, the same damn comments I would get every single day. And it's not just that, it's a lot of things like that. But yeah, so there's that. Another thing that I got really bullied for is something that wasn't necessarily my fault. This is a little bit awkward, but my mom, again, she was schizophrenic and she was an alcoholic. There is a lot of things she never taught me, right? So I was told in the first year of high school that I needed to wear a bra, which to me was absolutely stupid because I did not understand why I needed to wear a bra, right? Now I do wear bras, obviously, but back then I did not know why we needed to wear them. I didn't understand what they were for. All that my mom ever told me about bras is that they're uncomfortable and that they are unnecessary. Not the case, right? So please teach your children properly. Thank you. So yeah, that's one of the things, especially during gym class. Apparently the boys would stare or whatever, and I did not understand that because I did not understand that that was something wrong. That's one of the many things, and I think that comes to the last thing, which was body odor. So what did I just say? Well, the last thing is body odor or odor. And because of the fact that I wasn't wearing things like a bra, I mean, I never got taught anything about deodorant at that point. It's my classmates who taught me that. Yeah, awkward. I always thought that perfume was just a thing. But yeah, it's really stupid. It's things you should have known about, and you're probably like, how could you not have known that? If you're not being taught, you won't know. I'm like, what is that for? I thought deodorant was just to smell good, or just some kind of perfume. I did not understand what it was doing, or all of those things. Again, I was not taught about those things. And yeah, it's a bit difficult. Sorry, that was really bothering. So yeah, I got bullied a lot, and I was also taught at that point that I should shower only once a week because we had to save water to make sure that the water bill wouldn't be too high. Apparently that's something a lot of people did. But again, at some point people started complaining about my smell, and they told me like, if you need a shower and if you cannot do it at home, you can do it at school. I'm like, no thank you. I just got, obviously from that day forward I would go and shower every day, but it's just I wasn't taught, right? I didn't understand. I thought it was just to clean your body. I did not realize that it was to remove smell. Again, I know how stupid that sounds. I know how ridiculous that sounds. You want to judge me, feel free to judge me. But if you're not taught, you just don't know. You only know what you've been taught. And so, yeah. So this was only during the first year of high school though. Um, Not even the first year, more like the first few months. Again, my classmates, even though they bullied me, during the bullying, they would often say things that would like basically tell me that I'm doing something wrong. So, in a way, sometimes the bullying would actually be more useful than my mom. Yeah, fun. Um, yeah. But it's like, I never got taught anything about periods either, right? So, here's a little bonus for all of you, for those of you who can handle it anyway. This is about to be my first period story. So, if you cannot handle the female menstruation cycle, you should probably click away now. So basically what happened is, again, first year, we had gym class. My mom bought me really wide sport pants. Yep, you already can feel it coming. The moment I found out was when I was running throughout the gym, chasing the ball. We were, what is it called? I know we do the same thing in the Netherlands as you do in America. It's basically when you take the ball and you hit somebody else and they're out, right? You have two teams. But dodgeball, yes, dodgeball. And I was running and one of the boys said, "Hey, your pants is turning red." And it wasn't just a little bit, no, it was massive. It was absolutely massive. So yeah, that was embarrassing. Again, something I didn't know would happen because my mom never told me about periods. She told me she was having a period. I didn't know what it was. She just told me she would have a period. And so she never educated me on what it was, what it meant, why it would happen. All of that, like everything that I was taught was basically by teachers who had to explain to me things that basically come from your mother. Like all of it. So yeah. In a way, I wish that my mom would have given me up for adoption or actually aborted me often. Yeah. It's really sad to say, but yeah. If I had had decent parents who would have been there 24/7, who would have properly raised me and answered all of the questions or, educated me like a parent should, things might have turned out for me differently during all of those times, but it didn't. So basically, I got brought up by all of these social workers, one after the other, starting from age 6 to 8. I'm not 100% sure. I think, no, my dad left my mom when I was 8. So it must have been when I was 8. Because my dad wasn't present for the social workers at all. Yeah, so around 8 years old, I had my first social worker. So At this point, I've gone through about 50 different social workers, and the one that I currently have, her name is Gwenny, and I'm not gonna name her last name or anything, but she's been the best social worker I've ever had in terms of, you know, helping me with things, coming to terms with things, or just helping me get through things. And I'm so grateful to have her in my life. And my indication, I don't really know how to describe that part. Again, this is medical and all of that, so it's a little bit harder for me to translate. I know a lot of medical terms, but this one I don't. But because of a certain piece of paper that I once had, I kept changing social workers, but that piece of paper has changed to a different thing. Because of that, my current social worker can stay with me for as long as possible, as long as I'm basically alive. Yeah, well, sort of. So yeah, social workers can be great, but I've been through more than a few that were absolute shit. That were absolute horrendous or horrific in a way of treating me or treating others. One company even stole from us in a way of um, telling us that we had a personal budget that we were allowed to spend of the budget that the social workers get paid off, which isn't like we don't need to pay the social workers from our own money. It comes from an institute or a government agency rather. And from that we had a $2,000 a year spending budget on necessity or necessary things. And we had a lot of problems in our house. And so what this woman did, that was part of the institute or the government agency, blah 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 blah. She told us we could spend that money on furniture and other things that we really needed, obviously while being supervised, right? She had to fill out all of the forms. And what she did is she never sent in the declaration forms. She just withdrew that money for herself, put it into her personal bank account at some point, and then about a year later, we got a call from that agency. Yeah, we never got a declaration form. Nothing was ever clarified or whatever. You have to pay that back. Yeah, remember when I told you that we barely had any money? Yep, she did so. And we got even less money at that point. So obviously, one of the reasons why I'm, well, fat, why I'm big, is because of the way that I had to eat. I had to eat all kinds of unhealthy foods because that's what was the cheapest, right? That's just the way that things were, the way that things went. I didn't have a choice. My mom didn't have much choice, and here we are. Now I weigh about 114 kilograms, which is really good. I mean, yes, it's a lot, but it's been a shit ton higher. Like, the highest I've been was 180. Yeah, let that sink in. 180 kilograms. Of course, not all of it was due to bad food or due to not being able to afford good food. Some of it was just habit. At some point, you just don't know any different. And you just do what you've been doing, especially with the fact that I was in a depression and it wasn't exactly helping. I would sometimes stress eat or whatever. Luckily, I've managed to stop myself from doing that completely. I don't have that kind of desire anymore. But now I got the opposite thing, which basically is I don't eat enough. Sometimes, no, not always. I try to eat 3 times a day, but there have been times where I would just eat once a day, or worse, where I wouldn't eat at all, and I was like, oh, I skipped a day. And you're wondering how? Well, I did not feel hungry at all. Not at all. Not one bit. I know. How can you not feel hungry? Yeah, I didn't. I didn't feel hungry at all. And I'm well aware about how crazy that sounds, but yeah, I still can do that. Sometimes when I completely forget, I still eat once a day, at a day, and yeah. I can't really explain it to you how that happened or why I didn't feel it, but basically my body got used to it and I just stopped feeling it, I suppose. Anyways, I'm gonna stop this video now because again, when I first started out, my maximum amount of minutes that I would be able to record was like 3 minutes. For the love of God, I was trying so hard to make longer videos. I could not. Now I keep wanting to make short videos like 5 minutes and it turns out 20 minutes. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Sorry for the awkward video. I love you all and I will see you tomorrow. Okay? I love you. Have a good night.